The video you're about to watch comes out of Yemen at an unknown date. Stick around after the footage for the breakdown. All right, here's what we're looking at. An absolute non-essential vitamin of a machine gunner decides to take his MG3 and shoulder fire it Rambo style. Now his two buddies in front of him don't recognize how close they just became to meeting their makers. And let's back up a bit though. Why is the Wish version of Rambo in the streets with an MG in the first place? The Yemen Civil War. See, the Yemen Civil War has been ongoing since 2014, and not unlike Syria, is a multi-front conflict involving backers of the Hadi government, Houthi rebels, and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, or AQAP. It started when Houthis, whom are Shia, took control of Yemen's capital and largest city, Sana'a, demanding lower fuel prices and a new government. Now, after failed negotiations, the rebels seized the presidential palace in January of 2015, leading to President Hadi's resignation. A coalition of Gulf states, led by Saudi Arabia, launched a campaign of economic isolation and airstrikes against the Houthis, along with U.S. logistical and intelligence support. In 2016, the Houthis attempted to reinstate former President Ali Abdullah Saleh, who was ousted in 2011. But in December of 2017, Saleh broke with the Houthis and called for his followers to take up arms against him. Saleh was killed and his forces were wiped out within a matter of days. The U.S.'s presence wasn't solely logistical support, however. The U.S. has an ongoing mission to target AQAP militants and their cells to disrupt its activity. In January of 2017, U.S. Navy SEALs conducted a raid in Yakla against Al-Qaeda militants. According to open source information, the raid's goal was to gather intelligence on AQAP, but also to target AQAP leader Qasim al-Rami. This was President Trump's first high-visibility raid during his presidency, and the raid itself wasn't approved until he took office. Although the U.S. claimed victory on the raid, killing 3 prominent leaders of AQAP, it was also resultant in numerous civilian casualties, including children, as well as the death of Chief Petty Officer William Owens. Owens was killed during the raid from small arms. 3 other DevGru operators were injured when their Osprey took a spill. Civilian casualties during the raid is somewhat contested, but is known to definitively include at least Nora, an 8-year-old American citizen. Nora is the daughter of American Yemeni propagandist Anwar al-Awlaki, who was killed in a drone strike in 2011. Nora's older brother, Abdul Rahman, was a 16-year-old American boy killed by a U.S. drone strike in October of 2011. Now, I could do a whole additional episode on Awlaki and a separate one for this raid specifically, but honestly, that's a deeper dive that warrants your own research. You should absolutely further research this raid, but you can't cover the Yemeni Civil War and not discuss it. Fast forwarding a bit from 2018 to 2021, and the conflict continued on a relative standard pace until February of 2021, when Houthis launched another offensive into Marib. This is a battle that's still continuing today, and thus far includes over 14,700 Houthis killed and more than 3,000 of President Hadi's forces killed. Civilian deaths in the Yemeni Civil War has surpassed 300,000, nearing 400, and it's estimated that north of 10 million Yemenis are deprived of water, food, and electricity as a result of the conflict. Now, I'd like to take a moment and talk with you about our sponsor for this episode and our partner, Jake's Mint. Jake's Mint Chew is an easy partnership for us because I currently use their product, and I used it to help me quit dipping and smoking a few years ago. Jake's Mint Chew is a tobacco-free and nicotine-free alternative to dipping that's made right here in the USA. And even if you don't currently dip, they have non-THC CBD gummies and drink mixes that you can kick back with. Now, I use the code HEROES, and you guys can use it as well, as a thank you to our veteran LEO and public service community members for an easy 15% off, and kick that habit this New Year's. Your kids and your grandkids are going to thank you for it. Now, that's going to be it for this episode of the Funker News Network. Something to keep in mind, though, is that these are really just supposed to be the high points in these short videos. Most of these topics we're covering are going to be complex and are going to be leaving you with a difficult time figuring out who the baddies are. That's what we cover, the complexity. And we're here to showcase that complexity as objectively as possible. All right? Hit the like, hit the sub, hit the bell. Stay informed.